today we're moving into the habit 4. Think win-win. Okay. And Jesus told us very important thing. Blessed are the peacemaker, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are the peacemaker. What the peacemaker means? Peace means, original means, peace original means one thing broken into two parts or more parts. Then you put them together, I call peace. Okay. So like one vessel broken into two pieces, you use glue to put them together. It called piece them together. Remember, piece them together? I call peace. So blessed are the peacemaker means when there's a conflict, there's a fraction, the relationship are broken. As a Christian, we're supposed to mend them, put them back together as original, beautiful shapes. If we do that, we are God's children. And God like us to do it. And God accepts us as his children. Then what's good about being God's children? Everything. Because God, if God's our Father and willing to take up us as his children, we have all the blessing we can get. We have all the power we can get, and we have all the wisdom we can get. So before everything, I'd like to remind everybody, our logistics is, again, we have started with a $50 Amazon gift card, and you can receive extra $50 if you have a full attendance. And you can make up for attendance by watching the complete recording, okay? I keep reminding you, and please be on time. I really appreciate most of you are on time, and few of you late, and almost nobody leave 5 minutes before, okay, the ending. So I think it's very good. I appreciate, I'm glad you start building this discipline, because this is very important for the success of your future. Last time we talked about management, time management matrix. The most important thing we say, enlarge your quadrant 2 activity. And then how do we do it? We say strategy to manage time management is to enlarge quadrant 2, squeeze quadrant 3 and 4. So how do you learn to say no to testing quadrant 3 and 4 by saying big yes to testing quadrant 2 with a lot of what? Passion and motivation. And passion and motivation had to be what? You have to be proactive, you have to be mission-driven, you have to be vision-oriented, and really begin with the end in mind. So that's actually the first habit and the second habit. So that means, okay, because I have a vision, I have a noble vision, I have a noble mission that God gives to me. So I want to reach that by doing what I'm doing now. And that's what gave me the passion. That's what gave me the motivation. Okay, passion comes from God. So if you align to the vision of the mission given by God, you will have the passion. Okay, the motivation is you convert God's mission and vision into your value system and match what you want to do. Then you suddenly have the motivation. Okay. Then be principle oriented, build your value system. So you gotta have some simple principle to live your life. Because you always stick to your principle, it's simple and straightforward, black and white. So it's very easy. You don't get confused by yourself, and you don't get other people confused because your principle is very clear. Like once my boss asked me, say, Ming, why did you do this? I said, oh, wait a minute. There's no way I would do this because this is against my principle. I said, no, I didn't do that. And he looked up his file. I said, oh, okay. You're right. You didn't do that. So that's why it's so good about it. You have a principle. If you don't have a principle, you just want to please people, and you want to wishy-washy, just make sure everybody get pleased, then you have a problem because you don't have a principle. People don't like the person without a principle. Okay. And they cannot trust you because you don't have a principle. But if you know you have a principle, they can see you're confident, you stand firm, and whenever you say something, they know it's not going to change his mind easily. It's always honest. And that'll make a big difference in your life in the future. We talk about definition of success. The success is so important based on the Bible definition, and that's going to be your lifelong goal to reach. Okay. The good thing about this definition, it's not something easily to measure. There's no ceiling. There's no limits. Okay. So you just keep working on it, keep working on it. And that's what beauty about life. There's no limit we can accomplish. And nothing can restrain us from moving forward. And because this whole thing is so noble. Why it's so noble? It's from God. It's from God. So I want you to make sure, okay, you remember this definition of successful life. So whenever you work on the quadrant 2, you make sure you tie it to this successful goal. Okay, so the left hand is a column for activity, and the top is all the content for the successful life, the talent, resource, do goodness, God plan, gospel, and then you can try to relate it, okay, directly or indirectly. And if you have a question, you can always brainstorm with your parents. Your parents are the best gift God gives to you because they have all the experience. And then God gives them unconditional love to help you to succeed. So you should always treat your parents as a very good teacher. In addition, they supply you everything you need. Okay. Treat them as a teacher, treat them as a close friend, and talk to them about anything you want to talk to them. Ask them about any question you want to ask them. They might not have the right answer, but they definitely have the good intent. Okay. And then you collect the information from your teacher, from your friend, and then you can also Google search. Then sooner or later, you'll get to the best point you want. Okay. Then we'll talk about you need to balance life because there's so much you have to do. Now, how do you balance this, balance that in the future? Even more balls to get juggled, all right? But the truth is, in order to balance everything, you have to start with a good foundation. The good foundation is Bible, is God, is Jesus. No other foundation you can set up. And that's how you build your house on a rock. You don't build a house on your sand. Now I gave you the homework. Okay, how do you list all activity in quadrant 2 you need to work on in the next 2 weeks? Try to justify every activity for short-term and long-term necessity. Because you need to justify. If you don't justify, it's not going to motivate you. And you're just doing something your parents tell you to do. And that's no fun, all right? And you have to justify, learning is fun. Education is equip me for the future. Have a job to make money, to do good things, to help the others, to make this world better, and to manifest God's glory. This is where the successful life coming in, is that right? So you keep doing that, and then you keep enlarge your quadrant 2. Then you can actually be very happy what you're doing every day. A lot of youth is not happy what they're doing today because they feel they're pushed by their parents to do it. And they're pushed by the school to do it for no purpose, for no purpose. That's wrong. The whole education system, your parents always trying to help you succeed in the future. Maybe not necessary to the right approach. Maybe they're not that close to God. Okay, they try to get close to God, but not that close to God. But however, that's a journey. You and your parent need to walk together. Okay, you and your parent need to walk together. And you need to communicate with each other, and honestly tell each other what you think, what they think, then you can always find a way, okay, to make everybody happy. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next two sessions about win-win. Okay, win-win. Okay, then I say please prioritize them on its degree of urgency for the near future. Can do all of the next 2 weeks, So I just pull out the two homework and show you to share with you. One is this is the mature teenagers should and can think like this. Okay. The first thing is exercising. I need to stay healthy. The exercising can be better for sleep quality, help mental health in the long term. So he think about long term. Yeah, she's thinking about long term. A music instrument practice because I'm hoping to get better at all of the instruments I play in the long term. So I could potentially play for church. It's great. He's trying to serve God in church with music skill. It's just awesome. Okay. And in the old time, most of the music capability were presented in the church or in the royal family. Okay. Most in the church, worship God and not disappoint my teacher. It's great though. He didn't want to disappoint the teacher. And school assignment, a lot of school assignment that can become homework. So I want to avoid my homework piling up by finishing it. In addition, I learned something if I do sooner in class, and I would have people to ask questions if I'm confused. This is very good. Okay, I think he or she is learning from what we've been teaching in the youth camp. Okay, and here's my suggestion: if you have to do it, whatever, okay, if you have to do it sooner or later, you might as well do it as soon as you have time. Am I right? If you have to do it sooner or later, after you analyze, there's no way you don't do it. Okay. It's not any action item, quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. You have to do it. Then why don't you do it earlier? Whenever you get time. Why do you have to procrastinate? You do it, you finish, then you check it out. So on the list backlog list, you remove one. And keep a new one coming in, and you keep prioritizing them. You keep analyzing the urgency and the long-term necessity. So you can decide, okay, I want to do as much as I can as soon as possible. Then you always stay ahead, and you seldom fall behind. And this is more like you have a saving account. On the first few years, you just save the money. Don't try to spend too much. After a few years, say you have a few $1,000s saving, and compare with the other one. Whenever he had the money, he spent it. So a few years later, his saving is $20, $30. Guess what happened? The one with a few $1,000s saving live happily with a lot of margin. He never worry about any urgency. And he can spend the money, not freely, but at his leisure and it's necessary. But the other one with $20, guess what happened? He's always nervous. He's always paranoid about, oh, I'm going to have enough money to leave tomorrow. Am I going to have the next check to cover everything? Think about it. If you start your life, say 23 years old, 24 years old, with a few $1,000s in the saving and the $20 in the saving, the one person going to live the rest of his life with comfort and a margin. The other person live the rest of his life without a margin and on the edge all the time. What's the difference? The only difference is 3 years of saving. You don't spend the money lavishly. You don't spend the money wherever you want to spend. You don't spend the money just to show others you can catch up with them. You have your principle. Guess what happened? For the rest of your life, one person, always easy, always have margin, and it's not afraid of any crisis coming. But the others live on the edge every day. Of course, 30, 40 years ago, 40, 30, 40 years later, one will have a depression, anxiety, the other one, very happy, no problem. So this is the most important things on the quadrant 2. Take proactive action. Take care of whatever needs to be done as soon as possible. Basically means you put the money in your saving account. So you always have surplus. You never worry about the crisis. You never worry about it. There's two different kind of people. One can enjoy the rest of his life all the time. The other one is nervous, is paranoid, is always worried about if there's something unexpected going to happen to me. So this is simple common sense. A lot of people don't give a serious thought about this.
是可以去的。那我们今天比较 busy，
哎，
so
请你把 mute，
Lauren，
请你
Hello
mute，
Hello， you have a running nose, it's okay.
请你 mute， 谢谢。Okay, then this is example, another example of the students' homework. Very good. It's activities, classes, community college, debate, exercise, violin, I think it's, hold on. Trail life, YCOZ, all kind of activity there. And the classes, community college are important for my education. Will help me get into the good university. So he did this for next goal. It's good reason there. You want to get a good university. So you have a near future goal, a long-term future goal, near-term goal, and long-term goal. So this is for the near-term goal. So that's why it's important. He needs to do it. Debate is helpful for my speaking and thinking skill. It's a long-term goal for it. He's going to do it. Exercise beneficial to my health. That's extremely important. So that's why he's working hard on it. Violin and trail life, extracurricular activity that I enjoy doing. In trail life, I can also learn useful survival skill. So everything he does, he has a purpose. He has the goal. He wants to be a successful person in the future. He wants to be a person who can help a lot of other people. Maybe he wants to be a billionaire. Maybe he wants to be president. I don't know. But at least every time he did something, he's doing something in the quadrant 2, and something in the future is going to happen. Okay? The YCOZ can teach me practical life skill, time management, good habit, everything. So he's learning that. The church learn about God, worship with others. And of course, church is the place for build a life foundation. So this is how he justified all the activity in quadrant 2. So with this example, I encourage every one of you justify your quadrant 2 activity like this. Okay, you have a near-term goal, long-term goal. Of course, the near-term goal will lead you to the long-term goal, long-term success. Okay, thank you. So let's go to the next one. Now, urgency priority, that's good. Class is always urgent. Community college, then debate, YCOZ, exercise, violin, trail life, church. It's less in terms of urgency, only because no test that I have to do except for Sunday event. However, I do daily devotion, reading the Bible. This is very good. Okay, if you get urgency right and get priority right, you'll be surprised. You actually always have time to do the important thing later. Church is very important thing. However, because you can do all the other things with priority, with urgency, no procrastination, and don't waste the time on all the activity in the quadrant 3 and the quadrant 4. So what happened? You will have time. Yeah, of course, always good to have a discipline to allocate some time reading the Bible, daily devotion, application of the Bible teaching to your daily life. I always highly recommend every Christian to read the Bible in their life at least 20 times. at least 20 times. So you can really apply the Bible teaching to your daily life. There's no situation in our daily living that Bible doesn't have the instruction or guideline to help you deal with it. You can always find the solution in Bible. But that's why reading the Bible is so important. Now we're going to move to the next topic. So before we move to the next topic, we have to get a very important concept for you. Human beings have a 3 stage. The first stage called dependent stage. It depends on your parent. It depends on your teacher. It depends on church to raise you, to give you the right concept, to give you the right value system, and give you a health, to give you the condition to grow. That's called dependent stage. Then later, you go to independent stage now. So independent stage means I can do it myself. I can analyze the problem and I can make the choice. And most of the time, hopefully the right choice. I can learn by myself. I don't need a teacher or parent keep pushing me or give me every detail about what I need to do in the next minute, next hour, or next day. I don't need to do that. I'm independent person now. Let me give you an example. In Mexico, some poor area, there's a lot of kids, going to the garbage dumping area to pick up the bottle and take home to sell it. You know how old are they? Sometimes it can be 4 or 5 years old. So they're become independent to help the family make living now. Isn't it amazing? So all of you have a lot of potential, to be independent, to drive hard, to be a good person, to be a productive person. We don't always have to be mom's baby, dad's baby. Look at all the Mexican kids. They live in a poor environment and learn how to grow up very quick. Right? So that's always my feeling. All the kids, before you go to teenager, that's why it's so important for some of the ethnics. They treat teen as a very important milestone, right? So they have a special ceremony to celebrate that. I think when you go to the middle school, you should be independent. You don't need to depend on your parent tell you what to do, what to learn, what's the activity program you like, because you should be mature enough to make the good decision. You should be mature enough to do the Google search, find the knowledge, information. You should be mature enough to talk to your friend, talk to your teacher, and talk to the counselor in your school and ask for advice. And you should be mature enough to talk to the teacher in the church. You can do a lot of things. That's what happened to my 2 daughters. Middle school, I let them go. They choose their program, they choose their own class, and I choose the way they want to study. I just have only one expectation. You need to work hard and you get good grade, because good grade is not everything. But good grade is the sign of you work hard. You understand what you study. You understand what you're learning. We're not trying to use a grade to judge the success or failure. We want to use a we want to use a grade to judge, to measure your effort. And do you really understand what teacher taught you? Because all the material taught in the school will help you in the future. So again, middle school, you should be independent. You should be able to tell your dad and your mom, say, Mom, don't worry. I know I'm going to take out myself. If I need your advice, I will come to ask. So if you make a decision, you're trying to be independent, do you sometimes make a mistake and fall down? Yes. That's why it's so good to be independent, because you can fall down, trip and get hurt at early stage. So in the future, you learn how to deal with it by yourself. If you don't know how to fall, you never get hurt. You never learn how to stand up and keep fighting. So it's very important. Start from the middle school. You tell your parents, Mom, I'm mature enough now. I can make my own decision what to do. And I will come back, close the loop with you all the time. And if you have any advice, you can always correct me. I'll be glad to accept your suggestion, your advice. And if we don't have the same opinion, we can talk about it. And that's about a win-win. Okay? So all youth, you have to do that. Okay, you have to do that. Don't be mom's baby, dad's baby. Make decision yourself. And if you don't agree, you can talk about it. And your mom will be very patiently, your dad very patiently explain why they want you to do this. And you can tell them why you don't want to do this. And you can go ahead and analyze. Okay? Try to be independent. And you go to the school, you decide what to take. And you study, you don't need your parent to push you to study, do the homework. Okay, Mom, I'm an independent person. I'm proactive. I know what I'm going to. I have both. I have the vision and the mission. I don't need you to tell me. Okay, the two homework I just show you, they're mature enough to know what they need to do. So every one of you should do the same. Okay. So the second stage is independent. Then third stage is where the fun part coming in. It's interdependent. You will find out you need a lot of friends. You need a lot of team members to help you succeed and help each other to succeed. That's what community is all about, what the team is all about, and what the group all about, what the company is all about. You never have a company with one person, Lara. Always a group of people work together. So interdependent. This is a very important thing. Like you play basketball, interdependent. You play soccer, interdependent. You join the debate team, interdependent. You join the band, and you join a drill team, everything interdependent. Okay? So this is why we move from independent to interdependent. Here's a maturity continuum. Remember, on the bottom, we call it private victory. Be proactive is the first habit. Second habit, begin with the end in mind. The third habit, first come first. So this is a private victory. You move from dependent person into the independent. I'm proactive. Dad, you don't have to tell me what to do. I'll do it because I know it's good for me. It's proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Say, Dad, I know. Mom, I know. I have a mission, I have a vision. I want to succeed for the future. So I will do whatever I have to do because I have a vision, I have a mission. And the priority is time management. The dad, mom, teacher, don't worry about it. I learned how to manage my time. I learned how to expand my quadrant 2. I want to be successful by doing the right task with urgency all the time. Okay. So this then become independent. After you become independent, you need to learn how to deal with people, how to be part of a team. Actually, in the high school, middle school and high school, especially high school, you start doing this now. That's why a lot of projects in the high school, teachers assign you to work with people, work with other members. What's the reason? Everybody can do. Like in Taiwan, we never done that. Okay, at least in my education time, you just always study, read, take the test. And no such thing called a project. No such thing called working with people. Okay, but in the American education system, very good. You always have a project. You always have team member. Now, as a team, you need a leader. You need a follower, and you need to get people work together, get job done. So how do you do it? So this is where it becomes the public victory. Okay, how do you make the team succeed? How do you become a part of a team? And you can blend it into the team and no conflict. How do you build a good relationship with people. That's called interdependent. Interdependent. The first habit we're talking about the win-win. Okay, win-win. And this is Samuel Johnson, a very successful writer, English writer. There can be no friendship without confidence, and no confidence without integrity. So you want to be interdependent, working with people, you need a friend. However, you cannot make good friends if you're not confident in yourself. And people don't want to be the friend with the person no confidence either. Am I right? Because you don't have a confidence, you pretty much need help from the other people all the time. Because you don't have a confidence, you don't add a value to the team. And then it's hard to make friends like that. Am I right? So there can be no friend without confidence. However, in order to have confidence, you gotta have what? Integrity. A person with integrity has a lot of confidence. And this is where we're going to talk about integrity. It's a very important word, okay? Integrity is a very important word, but it's hard to find a good definition, okay? Integrity is very important. The person have the integrity, have the principle in their value system, and he always follow his principle, no matter what. In front of people, alone at home, doing whatever he's doing, he always follow the principle. This is integrity. So you have this kind of integrity, just like I said, the example I gave to you, I talked to my boss, I said, no, I didn't do that because in my principle, I will never do that. Then my boss can trust me. I have a confidence. Then my boss can be my good friend. Okay? So this is very important. No friendship without confidence. No confidence without integrity. This is some quote from the book, okay, I read to you. We should remember that effective interdependence can only build on foundation of true independence. So if you're not true independent person, you don't have a principle. You always have to depend on other people to correct you or to lead you or push you. Then you cannot be interdependent person. Private victory precedes the public victory. Just like algebra precedes calculus. You have to learn algebra before you learn calculus. Okay. And the second quote is self-mastery and the self-discipline are the foundation of good relationship with others. You have to be able to master yourself. You have to have the discipline. Then you can have a good relationship with others, with your mom, with your parents, with your siblings, with your relatives, with your friends, with your classmates, with your teacher. That's why I tell you it's so important. You have integrity, you have a principle, and you have mature mentality. And the third is you have to like yourself before you like others. You cannot like other people, you don't like yourself. It's so important. And tell you the truth, the more important thing you can like yourself is you gotta love God first. Okay. Because God created you. If you understand how God created you, how much God has given to you, how much expectation God hope you can reach, and why God gave you the Jesus. And then you understand all this, you will like yourself very much because we are very precious and the most powerful person in this whole universe is our Heavenly Father. So how can you not to like you? So make sure you study Bible, try to keep seeking God, keep understanding how Jesus becomes such a great role model for you and for me. The next one is interdependence is a choice only independent people can make. If you're not independent, You're not proactive. You don't have a mission and a vision in your life. You don't know what is good, what is bad. And you're not independent. Then you cannot choose that, oh, I want to be part of this team so I can contribute. No, you cannot be part of the team. You cannot contribute because you're not independent enough. It's more like a house, need like a 20 pillar to support this house as the foundation. So everybody join it needs to be a pillar. You cannot join just with a lot of dirt. It's not going to help this house. So interdependent is a choice only independent people can make. Just like you join basketball team with no skill and you don't practice, you don't train hard, nobody wants you to be the team. Am I right? And you don't have a team spirit. You're not independent. It cannot be a good team member. Okay. The most important ingredient of any relationship is not what we say or what we do. It's what we are. If you have a principle, you're honest, you're sincere, you're trustworthy, you don't have to say too much. You don't have to do too much. People can trust you. But if you're not honest, you're not sincere, you don't have a principle. The more you say, the more you do, the more people don't like you. Okay. So it is very important to know who you are, what you are. Okay. So these are very important quotes from the 7 Highly Effective People. It's actually the other book. Okay. The first book. Okay. The book most part you read is 7 Highly Effective Team. Okay. They might have this quote, but I highly recommend you to read the first book also. You should buy the book and keep it and keep reading it for the rest of your life. It's very, very good book. 7 Highly Effective People. Integrity. Now let's talk about integrity. What is integrity? A person with character is a person of integrity. So what is integrity? Integrity comes from this word, integer. Okay, integer. So integer is complete, consistent, opposite to fraction. Fraction is what broken, incomplete, inconsistent. So the person of integrity is a complete person. If you don't have integrity, you're a broken person. You're inconsistent. Whatever you say, people cannot trust you because it can change tomorrow. So you're not a person of integrity. When you say something in front of people, and then you say something else behind these people, you're not consistent. You're not complete. Because you lie to yourself, then you're not a person of integrity. When you don't have a principle, it cannot be a person of integrity. Of course, it had to be a good principle that. So I try to define this for you. Integrity means mind and behavior are always guided by principle, which consistent with our heart. What is our heart? It's our spirit, our conscience, and the glorious and God's glorious image. Remember, God put his image into us. And that's our conscience. That's our principle. That's the truth in our heart. So integrity means mind, the way we think, and the behavior, the way you act are always. It doesn't change at different place, doesn't change the time. Always guided by principle, which is consistent with our heart, our conscience. God's glory is always God-centered, not self-centered. The person of integrity should always God-centered and not self-centered. Of course, this is what I explain to the Christian. Okay. If the non-Christian, maybe I have to modify a little bit. But the basic definition is stay the same. Okay. Even they don't have a God, but whatever they do, they please God. Okay. They cannot do anything that doesn't please God and to please people. That's impossible. Okay. That's impossible because God created you and me. God created all the rule and the law. God defined the relationship. There's no way you can do something please all people without please God. It's impossible. So this is a very important page. A person with character is a person of integrity. What is integrity? Integer is complete, consistent. Fraction, broken, inconsistent. Integrity means mind and behavior are always guided by principle, which consistent with our heart, our conscience, God's glorious image, always God-centered, not self-centered. Okay? I showed you this image before. We have our mind, we have a body, we take action, then we have a spirit. Spirit is God's glorious image. And God sent Jesus as a role model for us. Also, He died for us to give us a new life to connect to God. And the Holy Spirit come into heart, come into spirit, guide us all the time. The purpose, we can be as fine as gold. Okay, what God expected us to be a perfect person, to be a holy person. Okay, that's what's important to understand what's integrity. Person of integrity understands his responsibility in this world. Person of integrity has courage and confidence. Remember, the Bible says, if God's for me, who can be against me? I have a courage, I have a confidence. Because everything I'm doing is based on the principle. It's based on Bible, it's based on God, it's based on truth. It's based on something's always right, something never change. That's how you have courage and confidence. That's why your personal integrity. Personal integrity is always honest, always consistent, always stick to principle based on his value system. Of course, our value system based on Bible. The personal integrity keep his promise, walk the talk. Whatever you say, I'm going to do it. Personal integrity is trustworthy. People can trust it. And trust is the foundation for good relationship. You cannot have a good relationship with a person is not trustworthy. Most of the time, you lie or you cheat once or twice to your friend, the friendship probably is broken in a big way. You join the team and you're not honest, you lie trying to cover your fault, you're in trouble. You need to confess your mistake, confess your fault, and to the team member and start it over. And if you do that in your office, once may be fine, twice you'll probably get fired. Okay? You have to be honest. You have to have integrity. You don't lie about anything. Many times, for the youth with a lot of pressure from parents, in order to get good grade, you're trying to cut the corner, you're trying to do something sneaky against the principle of God, against the principle of the Bible teaching, honesty, sincerity, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Okay, you will never be successful in the future. Grade is not the most important thing. Integrity is the most important thing. You can get a lot of help from other people with integrity, but nobody wants to help you if you're not honest. You can have a good grade, but you're going to fail miserably in the future. Let me tell you again. If you don't have integrity, you're not honest. You don't stick to principle and just trying to get good grade or whatever, or more money or whatever. People will not like you. And even God will give you punishment. And you will not be successful. The grade is not everything. You have a bad grade just means you didn't work hard enough, you didn't pay attention enough, you didn't learn enough. Just keep working harder. It's not a big deal, okay? It's not a big deal. But if you don't have honesty, if you don't have integrity, you're doomed to fail miserable. Okay? I don't want anyone of you fail in the future. So make sure you understand this. And of course, you need to communicate with your parents I'm sorry, I have a bad grade because I didn't work hard enough. I work harder next time. Okay. Maybe very few parents say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Get a good grade like other people. Say no, teacher Ming say, we don't lie, we don't cheat, we want to be honest, I want to be a person of integrity. So I can be a great person in the future. Today I failed. That's okay because I didn't do my best. I'm going to work harder in the future. Okay. This is something you have to stand firm in front of anybody. Nobody can push you out of the person of integrity. Period. Nobody. Okay. Nobody can force you to lie to get good grade. Nobody can force you to cheat to get good grade. And you can tell them, say, no way. Not what I'm going to do. That's not what God want me to do. That's not this whole society want me to do. Okay. I want to be a good person, successful person, great person in the future. So I had to be started with this point, person of integrity. Okay. So overall, later you will find if you have a person of integrity, basically, you have the fruit of the spirit. That's why it's so interesting. You do good things, you have peace, you have a love, you have faithfulness, you have a joy, you have a gentleness, you have kindness, you have self-control, you have a patience. Okay. This eventually you will find out. Okay. Simply put, okay, I think okay, I'm very quick. Okay. There's something called the emotional account. Okay. When you're dealing with people, there's something called the emotional accountability. So what is emotional accountability? Emotional accountability is taking ownership of your own emotion and be mindful of how they impact others, while emotional responsibility is about taking action to address consequence, their emotion and reaction upon others. That's emotional accountability. When you do something emotional, okay, you have to be careful, be mindful of how they impact the others. Okay, this is your emotional accountability, emotional responsibility. You cannot just express emotion whichever way you like to. You cannot. You have to express emotion to make the team succeed, to make the people work together. Of course, that kind of emotion definitely means no anger, okay, no madness, okay. It's just happy, joy, all this kind of thing, okay. So emotional bank account is a metaphor that describes the amount of trust that's being built up in a relationship. Relationship is a lot better and easier with a lot of saving in the account. Negative account values are never good. So when you're dealing with people, you can imagine you have an emotional bank account there, and God's keeping tracking of your emotional account. So you should keep depositing the money in it, and let people can trust you. And you never fail people. You never lie to people. You always help the people. You always encourage people. So you keep putting emotional account. You keep putting money in the emotion. So this is the same thing, you deal with your parent, you deal with your friend, you deal with sibling. What's the sixth way to deposit the emotional account? Understanding the individual. Try to understand people. Attending to the little thing. Watch people's response. Do they like the way I say? Do they like the way I act? It doesn't matter. They're good or bad. They're right or wrong. You just want to make sure you make friends, make the people can trust you, like you. Then you can work together. Okay. And keeping commitment. Whenever you commit to do something, get it done. It's the most important thing of integrity. When you commit something, get it done. If you don't commit what you said, you're in trouble because people cannot trust you later. And clarify expectation. A lot of time we communicate to each other, we have a misunderstanding. Okay. And we don't clarify what you expect out of others. And after misunderstanding happens, of course, the result is not going to meet expectation. Then relationship getting worse, getting broken. And showing personal integrity. Like I say, integrity is the top priority. Apologizing sincerely when you're wrong. So many times we have a self-pride. Emotionally, we don't want to apologize. We are wrong. But let's face it, sometimes we are wrong. Even we're not wrong all the time. Even we're not wrong all the time, but we do. Something make mistake, make error. Or sometimes we get out of control. And so you need to apologize. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry I did this wrong. So that's why the fruit of the Holy Spirit is so important. Because the Holy Spirit is in you, and you listen to the Holy Spirit and keep reading the Bible, you get close to God, you'll find all this character, all the characteristic will be in you. They're always peace, always kind, always patient, always have self-control. So you don't cause problem. So the fruit of the Holy Spirit help you build a good relationship. Okay, it's very important to understand that. Now I give you the homework assignment. I really highly recommend you talk to your parent about the homework. Okay, and take this homework seriously. And there's no rush. Every dinner time, you can come with one or two examples and write it down. One or two examples, write it down. Please give a few examples of behavior from a person of integrity. You're honest, you're sincere, you're a principle, you always commit to what you say. Anyway, give a few examples of behavior from person of integrity. Okay, then you will find out. If you do all this kind of example, people will like it. The homework assignment is give a few examples of behavior from person of integrity. So go home today, starting from today, talk to your parents, think about it, talk to your friend. It's a very important homework because if you understand the person of integrity, you will be very successful in the future. If you violate the rule and the definition of integrity, you will be in big trouble in the future. So I want you to take time to talk to your parents. Okay, I'm not saying your parents are all people of integrity. Okay, I'm not saying that, but at least you work together, you talk about it, and you can brainstorm each other. You can come up with a behavior, and everybody agrees. Oh, that's integrity. Integrity is important. Remember, parents walking in the spiritual journey with children. Okay, parents walking in the spiritual journey with their children. So you can help each other. Okay, so this is my class today. Oh, I'm sorry. Is the teacher Sheena here today? Is teacher Sheena here today? Okay, she's not here. Okay, so this is the end of the session today. So if you have any question, you can stay with me and ask me the question. Okay, otherwise, feel free to log off, sign off, and God bless you. Have a great weekend and